Hey guys, welcome back to Infidelity Stories. Make sure like and subscribe to the channel for more spicy stories. Now, let's get into story video.
I checked my wife's location and was shocked to see where she spends most of her nights. My wife began acting differently. At the end of the summer, we had just gone on a long trip. And while we enjoyed the trip, I thought it was stressful with our two little kids. She came to me around that time and said that she wasn't happy, and she didn't know who she was any longer. I admit, when she came to me with this, I wasn't the most supportive. I was sort of in shock and reeling as I felt blindsided. After this, I said we'd get some counseling and try to work out our issues. During this time, she was staying for drinks at work, and then going out to her friend's sister-in-law's house drinking. She'd get home at 2, 3, sometimes 4 in the morning. She also stopped calling me or answering my texts when she was out. I could feel her slipping away and nothing I said or did change it. She acknowledged that I had made positive changes due to counseling, but for some reason that got her even angrier at me. This was going on for months and months. And every time I tried to talk about us, she'd just say we're fighting. And apparently that was supposed to be the end of the conversation. She was upset that I didn't ask her what our New Year evening plans were until a week before New Year evening. She had made plans without me and didn't tell me until I asked her about it. This was sort of the slap-in-face wake-up call that she was totally checked out. Anyway, we were stuck in this weird limbo since September, and small weird things started adding up: a text from an unsafe number that was clearly a reply, a selfie from someone that had no business sending her a selfie, deleted texts, etc. Enough was enough. And I checked her Google timeline, places visited, and my heart sank. Hours upon hours, nights upon nights of spending all her time at this guy's house that is literally 30 years older than her. I know time heals all wounds, but hurry up already. I'm trying to treat her as nothing but a business acquaintance at this point, as we need to co-parent well for our children. She clearly stopped loving and respecting me as a person and as a partner. So why spend any emotional energy on someone like that? In short, life is nothing but a constant hop, from pain, to joy, to pain, to joy, and so on. I'm just in the valley right now. And I won't be able to make myself understand why she did what she did. Update: I found out about my wife's affair in early February. Since then, we've done some individual counseling, some joint. We've made very little progress, if any. She swears she's broken off the affair, but her word is pretty much worthless at this point. Anyway, I was waiting for her to come to her senses or something and was seeing if we could maybe reconcile, but I realized that's not going to happen. She was mad at me the other day, because she went with a friend to a lake for the 4th with our kids. It was about 40 minutes away from where I was. I had to pick them up so they could spend some of the day with me. I asked if she'd meet me. And of course she couldn't, because she might not find her way back. The real reason was that she wanted to drink all day. Anyway, I called when I left and there was no answer. I called when I was about 15 minutes away, no answer. I called when I got there, no answer. And I called after sitting in the parking lot. 10 minutes or so. I wasn't trying to blow her up. But I literally had no idea where they were, what side of the lake they were on, anything. I was just calling to get a heads up to as where I was supposed to be. I was about 10 minutes early, so I didn't sweat it. She finally called back and had no idea where they were parked or were, and then eventually said they were in another parking lot. I said okay, hung up and made my way there. As I was driving away, I saw her vehicle. I called her back and said, I'm by your truck, so just meet there. Then she got mad that I didn't tell her that right away. Like I knew it before. Anyway, she blames me for anxiety for blowing up her phone. I literally never said a single negative thing or blamed her or yelled at her or anything. I realized then that it doesn't matter what I do. She'll find fault with me. I can't live like this any longer, and I can't live up to some perfect ideal that she requires before giving us another shot. She thinks I have to do all this work on myself. But her problems are all my fault. Her lies and deceit apparently are my fault. Her breaking her marriage vows are my fault. Her selfish behavior is my fault. I'm done. Today is the first day of the start of my next chapter in life. Update: so I've signed my agreement with the lawyer and paid my retainer fee. The filing hasn't taken place yet, as the lawyer I was initially working with is on vacation until Monday. Anyway, a new and unsurprising development took place last night. My wife was showing me a text message and was flipping through screens, and whose name do I see a flash on the screen? Her AP, of course. She swore to me she wasn't talking to him any longer. And when I asked her to back up and show me her phone, she obviously refused. Then she had the audacity to gaslight me and tell me that what I saw wasn't true. I asked her to explain how she can tell me how she wasn't talking to him when I saw his name. What do I get? Crickets. She seriously can't bring herself to ever admit anything. I told her that if she had been honest, This would have gone way better. I'm not going to lie. I was fuming mad. I told her she's lucky. I didn't freak out more and put a bullet in his head. I only meant that people commit crimes of passion. And he's lucky I'm not that insane. But she of course wants to paint it as me making threats. I told her I'm done being nice. And I'm not giving her a cent more than she legally deserves. She's got no integrity, and not an honest bone in her body. What the duck happened to my wife? I feel like this guy broke her at a young age. Read my post history if you want details, and it all came back. It makes sense. While she's been so wishy-washy, though, nothing has changed. She's obviously still in a fog. And I'm so ducking down. And with all of this, I can't wait until I see her only to exchange the kids. Update. My DD was ages ago, February of 2020. And COVID dragged everything out. I can see the finish line. We have custody set. And we have the financial split set. I feel like I'm coming out on top. She kept the house, and since the housing market has been red hot, it shot up in value and basically offset my retirement account. My child support is pretty minimal, and I will actually have more money now. I no longer care about what is going on in her life. She threw me and our life away, and I won't ever forgive or forget that. The kids are adjusted to everything now, and my mental health is in a good spot. So many people have told me how much different I seem. I no longer have the stress of her in my life. Anyway, I am not sure what is next in my life, but I'll just enjoy the ride. It does get better. I was so gutted by everything, but now I feel calm acceptance. Ex-wife went crazy when I ghosted her after I caught her doing it with 2 men. My ex and I were together for 6 years. Around 5 of that were happy, but shortly before COVID multiple problems began to occur. She hurt her back, lost her job due to being unable to perform it with injury, wrecked her car. I tried to support her emotionally and did support her financially. We both used tea occasionally prior to this, but she got to the point after her injury where any time she was unhappy to the smallest degree, she would vape and take her pain meds for her back. I tried to talk to her about it. She would say I was right but never stopped/cut back. Over the course of the year she became more and more closed off. In February I started suspecting something was up after overhearing a chat where she had gone to another room on the other side of the house to take a call. I asked her about it, but she said she was offended. I'd even think she would cheat. I came to find over the next few weeks she was cheating with 2 different men and planned on a third. The third was planned after I found out about the first 2 and after we had agreed to work on a relationship. When we had agreed to work on things, I cried and couldn't sleep the first week. She told me this was misuse because I was keeping her up. Things still hadn't felt right. And I snooped on her phone. I normally never did this, but I had become a paranoid mess. I found a conversation initiated by her to a man where she asked him if he wanted to have closeness. He said, "Aren't you?" with what's on his face, and she said it never stopped me before I kicked her out. But over the next couple of months we attempted unintentionally at first to reconcile. We got together once or twice a week and tucked. However, one day I told her she was beautiful. And she said she knew because she had 1,400 likes on Tinder, throwing it in my face. I told her I'm not one of 1,400 guys just looking for closeness. I'm someone who's told you that daily for 6 years, and if you can't understand the difference, that's on you. I end up giving her a final date to have all her stuff out. The final date is the 3-month point of me kicking her out. Honestly, I think I gave her so many chances not just because I wanted to be with her, but because I needed it to be a mistake. I needed to know she cared about my pain and needed the damage minimized. Not realizing at the time that it wasn't possible. I'm on month 6 now. While I still think about her more often than I'd like, my biggest issue isn't in thinking about her, but in rather how I treat other people. I've realized I've lost trust/faith in people, not just romantically, but personally as well. I hear a friend is in a relationship and is happy. I immediately assume one of them is a monster in disguise. A friend disagrees with something I say. Suddenly, instead of conversation, I feel personally attacked. How do I stop treating the people who didn't hurt me? The people who have been here for me as if they're the ones I can't trust? How do I look at women and not treat them as if they're my ex? They did nothing to deserve my prejudice, and I feel guilty for judging them. How do I fix myself and take ownership of my new faults so I can fix them? I'm nowhere near ready to date. The thought of being with another person disgusts me right now. However, I've thought about going on dating apps and saying I don't want anything romantic, but to spend time with someone else who needs to heal. Then I think, well, no one would say yes. And even if they did, I just made myself a target for those looking to use me. Update. I was done getting led on and lied to by my ex, done being a second choice, done being a backup plan, done watching out for her when she doesn't watch out for me. Today, she did something that was the final straw, and I messaged her letting her know it was insulting. Shortly after, I let her know she's been blocked on all platforms and to not attempt to contact me. I also let her know that if she attempts to have mutual friends or family contact me on her behalf, that they will be blocked too. I am done. I am better than this. I deserve far more. I will not put up with it any longer. She got 6 months for 6 years of love. And that was far too much. I won't lie, it was hard. But I won't accept this any longer. I deserve to be put first. It's been a hard 2 weeks since I went and see with my ex. After 3 months of a mix of trying to work things out followed by 3 months of acceptance, I realized she didn't care for me as a person. It could everyone else's experiences have been like at this point. But hopefully there's some light at the end of the tunnel for mine. Overall, every day has been different and yet the same. Every day, I think about contacting her and part of me wishes she'd contact me. I won't, but it's weird talking to someone every day for 6 years, and then just not. I am tired, worn down. And I know I need to rebuild myself, and I have started, but it all feels so pointless. If I make myself better, I make myself a target. And if I don't, then well, I don't make myself better. It feels like a lose either way. Feelings towards her. I don't trust her at all. I don't believe she cares for me at all. I sometimes find myself wishing things had been different still, but also understanding the reality that they aren't and won't be. That said, I don't want anything negative to happen to her. Well, it isn't an excuse. I honestly think her childhood trauma ducked her up. She was *pad repeatedly over a long period by her grandfather. And as a part of all this, it doesn't make it okay. But I hope one day she figures it out / works through it so that she doesn't just repeat these patterns. I can tell she's hurt herself to here and that she has spiraled hard. I know I shouldn't care. But occasionally my mind wanders and I do think about it. That said, in the end, she put herself in this position and has owned her own dreams. I had been having dreams the last couple of months where she or other people I'm close to are lying to and trying to hurt me. However, this week those dreams changed. And when I slept, I'd dream of her next to me in bed, her arm around me, head on my chest, and this reality all being the dream. This makes waking up hard and makes sleeping off-putting. People, even when I'm around people, I either feel alone or I feel trapped. I find every conversation to be taxing. I feel like I don't connect with anyone. I try and I know they're willing, but I still feel like there's a barrier dating. I haven't been able to bring myself to date as I really don't want to. I just don't trust other people. And I don't feel like I can even connect to friends right now, let alone anything romantic. I don't see what another person can offer me at this point that I can't offer myself. Motivation / energy. I can't find motivation. I feel locked in place where at the start of all this I had convinced myself to go out and take 1 likes every day, to reach out to old friends, to listen to books, to do anything. Now I feel trapped in routine. I can't bring myself to make even small changes. I need to have music or a show on. I can't sit in silence. I can't bring myself to get a therapist, and I don't even know why, because I want to, I just can't. I literally feel trapped in my own head. Memory. My normally memory is even lately. I feel unable to focus on anything, and the things I do focus on, I forget quickly. After 2 weeks, I find my day-to-day life easier. I don't feel the strong emotional swings I felt when I was in contact with her. I feel more rational, more logical. Every day it gets easier to stay in contact, and yet I don't feel any stronger, I feel less able. I'm hoping this is temporary and that in a few more weeks, I will feel some more meaningful progress. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. It took me a lot of mishaps and slip-ups, but take it one day at a time. Each time you will be able to go longer and longer. Why was your final straw? If you feel like sharing, mine was her texting me out of nowhere that she loved and cared for me, you know, the usual manipulation spiel. Then I happened to see her at a red light about 10 minutes later with the AP in her car. It's all a game to them. They are just trying to keep us on the HK. Op reply. I have a Plex server like a personal Netflix I've always run. I gave her access to it as a friend account after we broke up. But we're still trying to patch up under the condition that it'd be kept private. I knew she was on a tight budget, having to move out on her own. And I was hoping if she had show/movie she wouldn't find herself bored and looking for entertainment. In reality, she's let me know even recently that she is still sleeping with random men she meets on Tinder nearly every night. Today I got a login from a location away from her home and nowhere near where her friends or relatives live. To be clear, I get notifications anytime anyone uses a new device to connect to the server. I was fairly certain she was using my server to Netflix and chill with some guy. I told her over text, in removing you from the server. She asked why, and I said it gives me more information about your whereabouts than I want, and told her I think you're using it to Netflix and chill. And honestly, it's insulting, her response.